The showroom gleamed like a glass cathedral beneath the rising sun, nestled in the heart of downtown Chicago. Inside Vanguard Prestige Autos, elegance wasn't just sold, it was engineered. Marble floors reflected gleaming paint jobs and designer shoes, while the scent of espresso mingled with the polished aroma of leather and chrome. It was the kind of place where silence was a language, and eye contact meant you belonged. And in this curated hush, two boys entered unnoticed, at least at first. Xavier Brooks, 17, lanky and confident in the way only older brothers could be, held the door for his 15-year-old sibling, Miles. Both wore faded cargo shorts, white tees, and sneakers that bore the grime of summer skate parks. No brand names, no flashy accessories, just youth wrapped in curiosity. They moved through the space quietly, as if not wanting to wake something sacred. Their eyes locked on the centerpiece of the showroom, a midnight black Peregrine Tempest RS, a hypercar engineered for dreams and billionaires. The kind of car that didn't purr, but whispered secrets in a language only a few could afford to understand. It sat coiled like a predator, $2.9 million tucked casually into a discreet plaque beside the wheelbase. Xavier pointed, his voice barely above a whisper. "That's the one I told you about." Miles nodded, wide-eyed. "It's even better in person." They didn't touch it. They didn't crowd it. They stood close enough to admire, far enough to respect. But reverence has never been a shield against prejudice. "Can I help you?" The voice came sharp, professional, and coded in a condescension too practiced to be accidental. A man in a tailored navy suit stepped forward. Arms crossed. Smile tight. Jared Keene, senior sales executive. For 4 years, he had topped the commission charts. For 4 years, he had defined who did and did not belong. "We were just wondering about this model," Xavier said, keeping his tone neutral. "Does it really go 0 to 60 in 2.7? Keene didn't answer right away. His eyes made a deliberate journey from Xavier's scuffed sneakers to his plain shirt to the subtle brown hue of his skin. His smirk deepened. "You boys know this vehicle starts at almost $3 million, right?" Miles's face fell. Xavier's posture straightened. "I was just curious," Xavier said. Keene chuckled, as if the question had been a joke. "Maybe check out our pre-owned section. This one's a little advanced." A nearby couple glanced their way. The man chuckled. The woman offered a tight-lipped smile, the kind designed to humiliate, not comfort. "We weren't trying to waste your time," Xavier said quietly. "Oh, I'm sure," Keene replied. "But let's not waste yours either. These cars aren't for spectators." The pause before the final word wasn't long, but it was deliberate, and everyone in earshot knew exactly what had just been implied. Xavier nodded once. "Right. Sorry." They turned, Miles following his brother in silence. Their footsteps echoed too loud on the marble. The hiss of the glass door sounded more like dismissal than automation. But before they reached the sidewalk, a soft voice called after them. "Wait." A woman stepped from behind a desk. Mid-30s, cream blouse, curly hair pulled into a precise bun. Her name tag read, C. Donovan. She smiled gently. "Do you have a minute?" They exchanged uncertain glances before walking their bikes back inside. "I heard you asking about the Tempest RS," she said. "It's a beautiful piece of engineering. Would you like to see the inside?" Miles blinked. "Seriously." She opened the driver's side door. "Seriously." They took turns climbing in, reverently. No selfies. No loud commentary. Just the kind of silent awe that belongs to those who dream big and keep their heads down while doing it. When they stepped out, she handed Xavier a business card. "If you have any more questions, I'm happy to help." He took it like it was a key to another world. And maybe, in some small way, it was. Back inside, Keene muttered to a coworker, wasting her time. She heard him. She didn't respond. She had other things to think about, like the two boys who had walked out with dignity, and how they reminded her of the younger version of herself who had once been underestimated in the same way. Later that day, in a sprawling estate north of the city, the boys returned home to a gated property designed for privacy, not showmanship. Their bikes coasted up the circular driveway, gravel crunching beneath tires. Inside, the grand piano sat untouched in the study. Their father, Dr. Langston Brooks, sat beside it, not playing, just thinking. Hands folded. Whiskey untouched. "You're home early," he said without turning. "We didn't stay long," Miles replied. Langston turned, his gaze not judging, but measuring. "Everything all right?" Xavier hesitated, then shook his head. "Not really." He gestured to the leather armchairs. "Sit." The story came in fits. Xavier started, stiff and hesitant. Miles filled in the gaps. They spoke of the car, The laughter, the looks, the dismissal. And then, of Clarissa Donovan, who had seen them. Langston said little. He nodded once. Asked only one question. Did she know who you were? Xavier shook his head. No. Langston turned to the window. His voice calm, but heavy. People confuse appearance with value. That tells you more about them than it ever does about you. Then, a pause. You told me the truth. That's all I need. As the boys left the room, Miles turned. You're not mad. Langston looked up. At who? The salesman. The people who laughed. I don't waste anger on people who show me who they are. I remember them. And when the time is right, I act. That night, Langston Brooks opened his private contact list and tapped a single name. Green. His voice was precise. Calm. I need Tempest models 7 and 9 prepped. Full delivery. Tomorrow morning. 8:45 a.m. Vanguard Prestige Autos. Yes, sir. No logos. Just presence. He ended the call and walked to a cabinet where a silver pin rested in its case, a gift from his first investor. He hadn't used it in years. Until now. He signed the purchase orders, not in rage, but with purpose. The next morning, at precisely 8:45 a.m., 2 Peregrine Tempest RS models, one obsidian black, the other royal blue with gold accents, glided silently to a stop in front of the dealership. They didn't rev. They didn't roar. They simply were. The showroom froze. And then, the door of the blue Tempest opened. Xavier stepped out. Same shirt. Same shorts. Same shoes. Miles followed, his posture upright. Still. Unbothered. Then came Langston. Tailored suit. No watch. No logos. Just quiet certainty. They entered the showroom not like customers, but like gravity. Jared Keene froze mid-sentence. His smile disappeared. Langston approached the front desk. I'd like to speak with the staff member who helped my sons yesterday. The receptionist blinked. Of course. Keene rushed forward. Sir, that was actually me. Langston didn't raise his voice. He didn't blink. No, he said. It wasn't. The silence returned. Langston turned to the floor manager. Your security footage, review it. 10 minutes later, the manager returned. Miss Clarissa Donovan assisted your sons. Mr. Keene misrepresented the incident. His behavior was discriminatory. Langston nodded once. He turned to Keene. You judged my sons not on who they were, but what they wore. You failed not just as a professional, but as a human being. Keene opened his mouth. No words came. The manager stepped forward. Effective immediately, Mr. Keene is terminated. Security approached. Keene didn't resist. Didn't speak. He simply left. And then, Langston said, Bring me Ms. Donovan. She arrived moments later, confused until she saw the boys. Is everything okay? Langston smiled gently. You treated my sons with dignity when no one else did. That matters. She nodded. They were polite. It was no trouble. Langston gestured to the Tempest. They like that one. She hesitated. That model is over 3 million. Make it 3.1, he said, pulling out the silver pin. Full commission to you. He signed on the same counter his sons had once stood beside, unseen, dismissed. He handed the keys to Xavier and Miles. Happy early birthday. No applause. No fanfare. Just quiet acknowledgement. As they exited the same glass doors from the day before, no one laughed. The world simply watched. Later that day, Clarissa returned to her desk to find an envelope. Inside, a promotion. Senior sales consultant. She didn't cry. She stood tall and walked the floor, not louder, just clearer. Because kindness never goes out of style. And some names don't need to be spoken to be remembered.